If you've been watching the channel for very long, you know that I believe in assuming responsibility for the protection and defense of yourself and your family. And I think the best way to do that is to conceal carry a firearm. But there are places where you either have to go or sometimes want to go where that's just not possible. You may have to go through a metal detector, you may get wanded or whatever. They just don't, they're looking for a metallic object, they're looking for guns and knives and weapons. So what are you going to do? Well, in today's video, I'm going to show you some options for self-defense tools that you can carry in a what we call a non-permissive environment. I'll show you several different options that I found. I'll show you the one that I've been carrying every day just as a backup for several months now, and a couple of options which are maybe a little outside the box, but you might not even have thought of these, but they are pretty useful potentially. So stick around, we'll take a look at that coming up next here on Survival on Purpose. Welcome back to Survival on Purpose, your home for trustworthy information and gear reviews related to camping, survival, and general preparedness for regular folks. My name is Brian. Thanks for joining me for another Sharp Saturday video where it's Saturday and we take a look at something sharp. And as I said, today we're going to take a look at some tools that you can use for self-defense in what is commonly known as a non-permissive environment, somewhere where you cannot take a firearm or a knife because you got to go through a metal detector and they're going to be checking for that stuff. So now let's talk about these tools for self-defense in a non-permissive environment. And you know that I believe, again, in concealed carry of a firearm. I think that's the most effective way you can protect yourself and your family from potentially bad people who want to do you harm. But some places you just can't carry. You can't carry those sort of things in. Typically nowadays, if you go to a music concert or you go to a sporting event or something like that, you're probably going to have to go through either a metal detector or at a minimum get wanded, and those wands are looking for metallic objects. So I decided I would look around and see if I could come up with some ideas for ways that you could maybe have to defend yourself and your family and still get past the old detectometers things. So first of all, I'll tell you, and I'm going to show you this in a minute, I'm going to kind of keep it a little bit of a surprise, but I've been carrying a tool for the last few months that will allow me to basically defend myself and my family better than my bare hands anyway in a non-permissive environment. And I've been carrying mine even when I'm carrying a concealed weapon because I think it's a good backup. So we'll talk about that in just a minute, kind of give you a little teaser on that. But let's just get started. First of all, I found some things from Cold Steel, imagine that, because they're all into that stuff. And we're just going to start with the first one, and we'll go over these one at a time, and I'll try to make this as brief as possible. This is the Cold Steel. This is the Cold Steel FGX Ske Dhu, and we'll just take a look at this real closely. It has a 7 3/4 inch overall length, a 3 7/5 inch, 3 3/4 inch Grivex blade, and a 4-inch Crayex handle. It weighs 0.95 ounces. It's 6 millimeters thick. The MSRP is $6.99. So you can see it has a kind of some I guess those would be jimping sort of on the back for good grip, and then it has a serrated edge here, and it's a chisel point, so the back side is a chisel grind. The back side is flat, but that's a pretty good serration there, and it's pretty stinking sharp. It's not too flexible. This Crayex, I think this is what this is. Is this Crayex or Grivex? Crayex, overmold on the other. This is like a fiberglass polymer material. The Grivex is. This is kind of a little bit more rubbery, soft, tactile finish over it. Got a couple little finger grooves here on both sides, and a little bit of a stippling here texture. It really is easy to hold on to. It feels really good in your hand, and I wouldn't want to get poked with it or even slash with it. You're not going to carve feathers with that. You could probably carve a steak with it or other flesh. And then it comes with this little ring on it, which is a metallic ring, obviously metal, but you can take that off. And then you've got a non-metallic, very, very effective self-defense tool. You could tape this to your leg, tape it to your arm, stick it in a cardboard sheath, make a little sheath for it. It doesn't have a sheath, but very, very handy there. And again, MSRP $7. I paid $4 for it, so really low budget as well. The next item is also from Cold Steel, and it is a Cold Steel FGX Boot Blade 2. This is a little smaller, just to show you. Here's the difference in size between these two. It's a little bit smaller. This one has a 1 ounce weight, an overall length of 6 3/4 inches, has a blade length of 3 1/4 inch, and a blade thickness of 7.2 millimeters because it's got this nice little ridge down in the middle of it. So the edge of this one is not as sharp, so I don't think that would cut you in any way. I'm pressing down pretty hard, but the point is very pointy, so stabby. Again, this one is also $7 MSR, and I paid $4 for it on Big Daddy Unlimited. A little smaller, like I said, but still got the grippy handle, and I wouldn't want to get stuck with it either. So it's a good way to, another good option, very small, easily concealable to maybe defend yourself or your family. And then the next one is also from Cold Steel, and it's another smaller one. This is a slightly different style. It's really like a push dagger, and there it is. Has an overall length of 5 inches, at a blade length of 2 1/4 inches. It weighs 1.1 ounces, and blade thickness is 6.5 millimeters. It's kind of got a little fuller ridge in the middle of it, and same Grivex with a Crayex grip, kind of grippy right here. And basically, if you're not familiar with these, what this is basically you hold it in your hand like that, you grip that T, and you can just punch with it like you would. So you really got your whole hand behind it. You can put a lot of force behind it, and it's just for poking people to get them to stop doing the bad things they're trying to do. This one does, however, have a little better grind on the edge than the boot knife. It's not serrated, but it feels like it might actually cut you. So this again could be a very effective self-defense tool. So those are 3 reasonably, easily concealable, rather discreet tools, and these are all, again, under $5 for it, and there they are. They're kind of cool. The next one is also from Cold Steel. It's a little less discreet and a little more in your face, but this is probably Lynn Thompson figured this one out, but this is the FGX Karambit. Oh yeah, the Velociraptor of discreet tools. This one weighs 2.3 ounces, has a blade thickness of 7.5 millimeters at the back, and blade length of 4 inches and an overall length of 8.5 inches. Same Grivex material with a Crayex grip. Just give you a close-up on that one. The edge on this one is pretty well ground. It's got a nice on both sides, so that might cut you, but it would certainly poke you. So, and then it's got the Karambit ring on the end of it. I'm not even going to pretend that I know how to use these things. I need to take Craig Douglas's course about ECQC, I think. Yeah, ECQC, yeah. But either way, this could be, I wouldn't want to get grabbed with that thing. So, and it's a little bigger, going to be harder to conceal, but it might be more effective if you know how to use these things. And the MSRP on this one's $10. It's $5 retail. So on Big Daddy Unlimited, if you can find it somewhere else, your mileage may vary. So that's 4 tools from Cold Steel. So I decided I want to try to just not look at Cold Steel stuff. And by the way, I don't know where these are made. They don't say on the packaging. They don't say on the website. I don't know if they're made in China, if they're made in Korea, if they're made on Mars. I don't know. But they're not. They don't say they're made in the USA. They could be. I don't know. But the next one definitely is made in the People's Republic of China. That's not Korea. That's not Taiwan. That's Communist China. And it is the Kershaw Arise. And this is it. I'm just going to show it to you. This is probably one of my least favorite of the ones we're looking at today, but I bought it, so I'll show it to you. This has a blade length of 4.2 inches. It has an overall length of 8.4 inches, and it weighs 1.8 ounces, and the thickness is 18.5 millimeters. Oh, that's the handle. Blade thickness is 6 millimeters. And it's got this little bit of a fuller here, kind of fuller groove in the middle for lightning. It has the least sharp edge of any of these, even the boot dagger. I mean, that's not going to cut anything. It doesn't hurt at all, but it has a nice little point on it. And then it has just the same smooth handle. There's no grippiness on the handle or whatever. It has this ring on it that can come off. This little, can you see that ring right there? But what I didn't understand, this is kind of weird. So, and by the way, the MSRP on this one is $14.39, and I paid $7.99 for it on Big Daddy Unlimited. But so see those holes in the handle right there? I don't know what they're for. There's nothing, there's no pieces here. This is all one piece. But for a non-metallic tool, it had these 2 Chicago screws in it. I took them out because I don't even understand why they would put metal screws in something that's designed to be discreet, but maybe they were trying, who knows? I don't know. Maybe, either way, that's the Kershaw Arise. Not my favorite one. I'll just tell you that right up front, but it's very thin and usable, but, and it's bigger than the Cold Steel, but it's not bigger than this cold steel, and I like this one better. Just saying. Okay, so that's the Kershaw. Moving it right along, now we'll take a look at what I've been using and carrying for 2 or 3 months now, and it's not cheap, okay? I'll just be straight with you. This one is, let me find my notes here. This thing, MSRP is 80 bucks, and I paid 62 bucks for it. No, I paid 50 something for it, but it was on sale. But it's 52 bucks, 62 bucks now on Big Daddy Unlimited. This is the VZ Daggers Discrete G10 Daggers. So let me just show you real quick. So I carry it just like this. There it is, and there it is. So, and I got a scout carry sheath. I've been carrying this one even when I carry a pistol, because it just gives me something if my hand's occupied or something I'm trying to, you know, whatever the case may be, I've got a way to a secondary self-defense tool. And let's talk about the specs of this one. There she is. It has an overall length of 5 3/4 inches and a blade length, this part, they call them the blade, of 1 3/4 inches, is 1 inch wide and a 1/4 inch thick. It weighs 1 ounce. And it's made of G10 in the USA, 100% made in the USA. And VZ Daggers is actually owned by VZ Grips, and they started out making handgun grips with G10, and they thought, you know, why not make some other self-defense tools? And so they did these. So I've been carrying that one. I like it. It's very small. Let me just show you again. I can stick it right here. I just take this, this is a scout carry sheath, a little leather sheath, and I stick the one end under a belt loop, and then it doesn't poke out, and I can get it out if I need to. So, and I can get it out with either hand. So, there's that. However, if you want something a little bigger, and I know this is small, it's a 1 inch blade, but as Clint Smith says, show me somewhere on your body you'd like to be cut 1 inch deep. Nowhere that I can think of. But they have a larger version. It's the VZ Executive Dagger. And these, by the way, come in several different colors. I got the gray one and I got the blue one. But this one is, let's talk about the specs. It is an overall length of 7 3/4 inches and a blade length of 3 1/4 inches. It weighs 1.5 ounces, same 1 inch thick width and 1/4 inch thickness. And this one has this little finger spot here with a hole in it, so you can hold it right there and get a really good grip on it. This is super strong stuff. It won't rust. None of these things will rust. You know, if you need to maybe hide a tool somewhere, you can hide it. It's not going to rust. And then this one comes with another handmade leather sheath. And the price I quoted, this one's also is $79.99 MSRP, and it's about 65 bucks on Big Daddy Unlimited right now. But this has a handmade leather sheath, and this one is either scout carry. You can put your belt through here, or through, you can carry it either way, scout carry, right or left-handed, or you can carry it vertical with these little slots here. So there's that. I really like these a lot, actually. They're the most solid of these. I mean, there's no bend in there. That's mighty pokey. We'll say that. Okay, so that's the VZ Daggers, discreet, and those are the traditional weapon-looking tools. We'll say that. You know, kind of all those are basically knife substitutes. But the problem with those is, if they are found, they're not going to get it through. They look like what they are. They look like something designed to be a self-defense tool. I got a couple of other options that I found that, and one of them you've seen before in a different application, but that maybe might actually, if they're found, they might even not draw any suspicion. And here's the first one, and I just had to show you this. This is another cold steel, the Honeycomb. So if you want to make sure you stay stylish and keep everything cool, you're doing good, and maybe, you know, brushing your hair, keeping yourself pretty. But if you need to defend yourself, there you go. You got it. So the handle comes out and turns into a cruciform dagger. Let's talk about this thing. The weight is 2.2 ounces on this thing. Very lightweight. This 1/2 inch thick cruciform thickness there. It has a blade length of 3 5/8 inches, a handle length of 4 1/4 inches long. And this is called Zyx. Don't ask me. An overall length of 7 7/8 inches. If you put the brush sheath on it, it is 8 1/4 inches and weighs 2.2 ounces. The price, the MSRP on this one's 10 bucks, and I paid 5 bucks for it on Big Daddy Unlimited. So what's cool about it is, it is a functional brush. So If you got this in your purse or something, if you're a lady, or maybe you're a guy that carries a purse, I don't know, or in your carry-on bag or whatever. And I'm not trying to say get this through TSA. I'm not saying it's a TSA approved, or I'm not telling you to do that. If they catch this, you're probably going to be in big, big trouble. But it's a functional brush, and this might not draw. Look, this is going to get a whole lot less attention, have a much better chance of getting through somebody's inspection than this. I'm just saying. So that's the Cold Steel Honeycomb. And finally, last but certainly not least, is an item we've looked at before on the channel. I really like this thing. It has multiple uses. It's something I really like about it as well. The brush has the multiple uses, either a brush or a defense tool. And this next item has a multiple use too, and it has a good chance of getting through unless they know what they're looking at. And I'm talking about the Kabar Spork. You've seen it before on the channel. I really, really like these. Made in the USA. So let's talk about it. 1.6 ounces. It is a very, very functional spoon fork spork. But if you've seen it before, you pull it apart. It's a very functional little knife blade. I've used this particular, not this one, this is a brand new one, but I've used exactly the same thing to cut steak, so it works. It cuts meat. It'll cut gristle, it'll cut steak, it'll cut stuff. You're not carving feathers, but it'll cut stuff. This has a 2.5-inch blade. The overall length is 6 and 7/8 inches, and it is Grillamid. Grillamid weighs 1.6 ounces. I don't know what Grillamid is, some sort of polymer technology, and made in the USA. So that's the Kabar Spork. So I like this one a lot. So I say so a lot, I apologize. Let's wrap this sucker up. If I had to pick my favorite one and my least favorite, first of all, as I said, my least favorite is this Kershaw, because I take those Chicago screws out and I don't see any reason for them. It's got the least usable edge. I mean, this is not even going to cut butter probably. It would mash through butter. And completely honestly, it's made in China and not my favorite. So my favorite of all these, you're gonna like this, funny. My favorite of all these for self-defense and just carrying with me in a non-permissive environment is probably the one I'm carrying right now, this VZ discrete dagger, because I'm just so used to it. I like the way I carry it. It's really easy to carry, and it's something that would, if somebody's got my arm and I'm trying to, they're pulling me, and somebody's trying to grab my pistol or whatever, I could snatch that sucker out and stab my arm a little bit. Maybe they'll stop. Like I said, I don't know anything about fighting with a knife, but I got to say, the Spork, it's hard. This will have a good chance of getting through, and just for novelty, man, I got the Honeycomb. Come on now, I mean that's just plain cool. So there you go. Bottom line, whatever you do, be prepared. Keep your eyes open. Pay attention. Don't walk around with your head down looking like prey. You need something my friend James Yeager told me is that if you're looking in like the Serengeti, right? Prey goes like this. They got eyes on the side of their head and they got their head down looking. And carnivores, their eyes in the front and they're looking. Their heads aren't down. Keep your head up. Pay attention. Keep your situational awareness up. I believe John Steinbeck said the mind is the ultimate weapon, all else is supplemental. So all this is great, but if you're not paying attention, it doesn't do you any good. But if you are paying attention and you can't have your firearm or your knife with you, then one of these tools might be something that could help save you or your family's life. So I hope this has been helpful. I really appreciate you watching Survival on Purpose. Remember, survival's not an accident, so be prepared. I'll see you next time.